Hey Jasper fans, welcome inside the Morrow broadcast studio as we take you inside Manhattan Athletics. I'm Joe Hutter, joined by the head coach for the Manhattan women's soccer team, Brendan Lawler. Brendan, pretty good season last year, 8-8-2 overall, just missed the conference tournament, but some positive things to build on. A good spring season last year, and now, as we've had preseason so far this year, really good things from the team.
Absolutely, a lot of positives. So last year we started 6-3-1, first two games, top of the conference. One too many injuries came for us, and that's now motivated us so much to continue into the spring, into the preseason, into our exhibition matches. We haven't dropped a match in those, so that's great psychologically for us. So our returning players, all 13 returning players, are going to be impact players for us. They're going to be huge contributors in the incoming class of 12, 11 freshmen and one transfer are going to add the depth that we need to be able to get through the dips in the lower parts of the season when the injuries start to come and things like that. We'll be able to get through those a little bit better than we did last year and continue staying on that high level.
Now, Ashley McElvaney had an incredible season last year with the goals and was actually playing through an injury toward the end of the year. Really an admirable job. Can you talk about maybe a couple players that you expect to maybe tag team that kind of an offense this year and then kind of improve upon even that output last year?
Sure. I mean, Ashleen is one of the best players that has come through this program and might ever be one of the best players to come through the program. So you don't necessarily look to replace her. You look to bring players back who are going to just increase their production. Kind of a Moneyball idea. You don't need to replace 45 home runs with another 45 home runs. This player can get 5, that player can get 6, that player can get 10 more, and then you're there. Erica Modine is coming back from a broken bone last year, and she's ready to come back and step up where she started her freshman year. Emily Udy, Sam Washuk, Colin Cavanaugh, all midfielders, they're going to be looking to step up and score more goals this year. Lizzie Carlson, who's been a kind of deep-lying, ball-winning central midfielder for us this year, is going to be a target for us this year up top. So, where last year Ash played that position in a certain way, Lizzie's going to play it completely differently, but maybe brings a different dimension that we didn't have in past years. So, everyone's looking forward to stepping up and increasing their role, and that's how you replace Ash, not with one person, but with everybody getting better.
Now, from a formation standpoint, you're not one to always pick out a formation, but kind of tells the players to pick a certain role, or you give them a role and want them to play more of a role as opposed to a fluid system. So, what can we expect?
We are blessed with very hardworking, intelligent soccer players on our team. They're that way in the classroom as well, which makes it that much easier on the field. And we can define roles and give them freedom within those roles to play. And when they start to maybe meander a little bit further than they need to, we can pull them back in. But they all know their roles. The central midfielders know their roles. The forwards know their roles. And those roles are different for those forwards and certain central midfielders based on their own skill set. I'm always the type of coach that says what's going to work best for the players that we have instead of being wedded to a system, wedded to a numbers on a page. So there might be two central midfielders on the field that will play differently than two other ones. But I think that'll make it harder to scout, harder to play against. When this person's in there, they're going to do this. That person's in there, they're going to do that. And it's going to make us tougher to deal with, I think.
Now, a pretty challenging non-conference schedule here that opens this season with 7 straight out of conference before obviously opening MAC play. Are there any goals that you have for this team in the 7 non-conference matches?
Yeah, it's our game is very psychological because the seasons are completely separate. It's all about being in the right place mentally to then go win your MAC games, because the MAC wins are going to get you ultimately to your goal, which is a MAC championship and an NCAA tournament. So our goals are simply to continue to get better each time. Now, I know that's kind of coach cliche, right? But we believe we can go in there with a winning record, challenge teams from bigger conferences, from places like the A10 and the America East is kind of common with us, but are kind of on the same level as us. But the Ivy League, and go in there and test some of those schools. And last year we did that. Last year against Yale, last year against Binghamton, teams that have done very well in their conference. And it was finally yeah, we can do this. And now, again, I always say we're going from the belief side, of believe we can do this, to knowing that we can do it. So really, it's to go in there with a winning record, have competed well against strong teams, like a Hartford, for example, picked to finish second in the in the America East. Always have a very good program. Can we go in and take them, and push them a little bit and see where we are, so that we know when we go against the likes of the Monmouths, the Siennas, the Riders, the Fairfields of the world, that we'll be right there with them.
Well, the Manhattan women's soccer team opens up its season tomorrow night at home against the University of Vermont, a 7 p.m. start. at Gaelic Park. Head coach Brendan Lawler, thanks so much for the time and good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you very much. We're excited. It's going to be a great year.
And thanks for joining us inside Manhattan Athletics.